episode. Today is 10th of December 2025. Welcome to Royal Institute, the University Bursary Scheme Project. We are going to class directly. Today we are going to use YouTube. We want to add on another subject on our education management and administration, which will be class management or school practice. For today, we are looking at education management and administration. You are welcome, members. People who have just joined us, we welcome you so much. We salute you. Thank you so much for joining us. Please, if you come here, you subscribe. You touch that red button of subscribe, then you subscribe. Just touch it like this. If you touched it, don't touch it again to unsubscribe. So please, you are welcome. Members, ladies and gentlemen, whether you are our student or no, we have decided to give you for free. So today we are going to look at education administration and the management, and best specifically the functions of management. Functions. Remember yesterday we talked about mobilization of resources, but for today let us look at the functions of management. Then we shall zero out on planning for today, but at 8 in the night we shall have another lesson, God willing. Now, management administration, yesterday we said in brief, it is working, organizing, or whatever work we do in organization through others. For this case, we shall look at school, because the Faculty of Education headquarters is always school. Now, what is education and administration in school? That is working through others, support staff and academic staff or teachers. Administration management is a structure. It is a structure. You can't do it alone. There are so many administrators. Since you have all ever been in school, let me hope you have a good picture of education management and administration. Almost everybody admires to become the headmaster, the deputy, the dossier. People think it is a matter of sitting in a beautiful office. Then you begin to talk to people when you are posing, especially young men and women. Almost everybody admires. But it's not a matter of posing and getting big salaries, but it's responsibility and work. Hello? It is work, what we are going to discuss now. Now, what we are discussing, it is not for you to pass your name exams, but to render service. Whatever we discuss at institutional level or at the university level, you are going to implement it there. So you have to understand, comprehend, make revision that will make your service delivery effective. So you can get the documents, even necessarily they can give you the right documents, very good, and even give you first class. But when you come to rendering the service, here is where you're going to sweat from. Because at service delivery here, we give you interviews. Maybe you can pass through the interviews unnoticed, but we are going to give you the service you are going to render. So we shall make the evaluation whether you are worthy or no, depending on how you render the service. Because for us at the workplace, what we were interested in is not the documents. Documents just introduce you. But what we want is the skill you have and how you render service, whether we are going forward or you are making our school to collapse. Hello? So for us, we don't wait for the school to collapse and be closed down completely to know that we're a good administrator or a bad administrator or lazy. Some people are just lazy. They know what to do. They can do it, but they're just lazy. Let me hope you are none of them. So that is education management and administration. It's basically in school, whether primary, nursery, but we shall zero out to primary schools or more so nursery schools. Early childhood. You know, early childhood people think is nursery or pre-primary. It is actually from baby class up to primary 3 officially, but the same skills can be applied even in upper classes and even in secondary schools. Is there a school without a teacher? No. Even universities have somebody in that position. Now, working through others, as simple as that, for our level, we shall not go to the details of master's degree, where they explain a full handbook just explaining education, administration, and management. Actually, there is a full master's degree called education planning and management. So I can't exhaust everything because we can't get everything. We need, at this level of certificate or diploma, we are going to take summaries. Now let us look at the functions of an administrator. Because just assume tomorrow they give you an office and they tell you are the HM. And why do you think people want experience? Because it's very easy to say, very easy to cram, very easy to pass the exams. But implementing is something different. You can pass very well, you can be bright, but when it comes to implementation, you might be lazy or it might be hard. Things sometimes are even different when it comes to practicals. Now, these are some of the functions. Of course, I can't give you all, neither can any of the functions. Some of them you realize when you begin work. But let us look at the most important functions of administration and management. One, let us first list them. If you have somewhere to write, you can first list them. Scovia. Please get a pen and list Scovia, Florence, Gladys, and others. Some of you have not told me where you are. We are using YouTube, so I can't easily know who is watching. So what you do, get a pen and we first list them. We have a planning. The administrator plans. The administrator has eyes to see far. Then organizing, like putting together things. Organizing things, that is resources, money, material resources, and also human resource. It is you to know who is teaching who, what, who is working when, ABC, you shall look at that. Then decision making, whether hard or simple decisions, depending on the level of management, because you shall look at the chain of management and the management structure. Some decisions are made at different levels of administration. So in administration is where decisions, whether tough or what, are supposed to be made. Some people don't make decisions. They can tell you, I'll see tomorrow, I'll do what. Those are people who take long to make decisions. Though it is not easy, it is not good to take decisions immediately. Then staffing, because nobody can work alone in any organization. It is the administrator, depending on the level, to staff or to recruit workers. Then direction is to guide, to lead. Just like somebody driving a vehicle is the administrator of a school. You guide, that means if you are those. You are supposed to know almost all subjects, the basics. Because how can you tell somebody who is rendering service and the other one who is giving poison if you are completely green? So that is why I say, like I said yesterday, administration and management is both an art and a science. Then there is coordination. Coordination somehow looks like organization, but there's a difference. With the coordination, you connect this and that, that and that, this and that, and you put them together. All we were aimed at achieving the objectives of that organization. Then there is reporting. Of course, each administrator has to report to somebody. The DOS reports to maybe the deputy reports to maybe the HM reports to the director or NBCD reports to the Minister of Education, ABCD. All that, those are some of the functions in administration and management. Then there is budgeting. Budgeting that involves money, financial resources. I want us to look at one by one. So management and administration is the backbone of each organization. Without management, there is no organization. All of failures of that organization will be attached to management. More so, the top management, one person. And all achievements and successes will be attached still to management. For this case. Yesterday, remember people who were here, we discussed resource mobilization. It's also a function or an activity of the administrator. Let me assume I'm talking to the head teacher for now, because we have to address the head teacher, then the deputy and the others, we also take a leave. Most cases, they first make you deputy teacher for sometimes. Once they see that you can be independent, is when they can make you the head teacher for that case. Planning. You write planning. Yeah, I'm going to send you the notes, those who want. But for now, you can take these simplified notes from me. What is planning? Planning is just looking forward or looking ahead of everybody. Let me assume you are the driver of a taxi or a vehicle, even a motorcycle. The passenger can be looking at you, or even in the sides. But you cannot look in the side. You have to look far. The farther you look, the better whatever the journey. Or if you look near, of course it must be measurable. You concentrate, the more effective it can be. But also, if you look very near, my friend, it may not be good. You can knock. Maybe a trailer is coming and you're looking nearer. You can miscalculate and then you get an accident. So an administrator, let us say headmistress or headmaster, has to look very far. For example, now we are in 2025. The administrator, that is the head teacher, is already planning for 2026, the whole year. I've been talking to somebody here, a doctor, moreover, a doctor in education. I've been talking to him. He's going to start a school in January, but he's telling me he has not even got the name of the school, the uniform, how much they're going to pay, where to put maybe materials, but he's going to begin. He said, it's okay. People have different talents. But a good administrator, you must plan the whole year from January to December, whether you have the resources or not. Because even to get the resources, you plan for them first. Some people say, for me, I first get money and then I plan. That is wrong. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You plan and put the plan there. Then make adjustments according to the variable circumstances. By the time you get the resources, because the plan itself also has, how are we going to get the resources? When we look at planning excessively or in details, we shall see how are we going to get the resources. Because your plan, for example, has construction, how marketing and EBCD. This plan also has to be with a chapter of how are we going to get the resources. Are we going to get a loan? Are we going to borrow? Do we have the money? So if the money is not there, it doesn't stop you from planning. When you are making a report for 2025, after getting the report, from that report, you get the plan for 2026. The financial plan. Teachers, you think these teachers are supposed to come back? Maybe teachers have been there, you've been tolerating them because of resources and ABCD, but next year you need some new teachers. Which class and which subjects? Do you need some textbooks next year? Maybe texts have been lost this year, but next year you need new textbooks, or you need to add. How do you want next year to be? You give a picture of next year. Are we together? Then do you need to construct another building? You don't first get money to plan. You plan and then you look for money. Are we together? So if you fail to plan, you are failing. You are planning to fail. You must plan as an administrator. So we shall look at plans. I don't know whether we shall get time, but it's good to know how to plan. You know, some administrators have no proposals, have no budgets. They just spend whatever comes. Somebody told me that, for me, I first get money and then I plan. That is very wrong. Very wrong concept. By the time you get money, what to spend money on cannot fail. It is always there. But if you have a clear plan before you get money, by the time you get money, you know exactly what to spend the money on. Are we together? So this plan is based on the objectives of that organization or institution. It is based on the mission and vision of that institution. So you can't plan outside that. Maybe you are the one who set them or no. What are the goals of the institution? You have to look at the goals first. Because the plan should not be outside the goals. Should not be selfish or individual, but for that organization. Let me tell you people, the directors, those who begin school, some of them are illiterate in terms of education. They could be maybe doctors or engineers or whatever. For this case of the Faculty of Education, we don't call them learned friends. We are like lawyers. If you are in court, whether you have a PhD, as long as you didn't study law, the lawyer or even the magistrate cannot call you a learned friend. For us in education, it is you, the head teacher, who is supposed to plan. Then maybe give the plan to the director and explain to him, because sometimes they don't have time to read and understand. You have to explain, they don't even have time. Then he or she approves it. Hello? Yes. So this director, for him, is waiting for profits. It is you who knows how you are going to run the school, where the resources, minimizing, he wants to minimize expenditure, but maximize output. So if you don't bring profits, you are not working. Hello? So you might find the vision is there, the objectives are there, the goals are there, then plan within the objectives of that organization. So you manage, you plan how you're going to get the resources, whereby yesterday, remember we talked about the people themselves. How are you going to get them? Just assume the your number is not coming back, because you can't tell even now who is coming, who is not coming back. Which people are going to die, which people are going to change school, which the parent might change the location. Maybe the parent has gone to USA with the kids. They are not coming back to your school. They don't, them to responsible to tell you that you see we are not coming back to your school. No. You will find out in the first week that they have not come. By the way, even teachers, sometimes they don't tell you that we are not coming back. So you have to assume they are not coming back, you plan. When they come back, where are the good? You increase. If they don't come back, you already have a plan to implement. Are we together? So managing and coordinating resources, we shall look at that one in details. How do you manage the resources? Remember we said yesterday there are 3 types of resources: human resource, material, and financial resources. Then number 2, staffing. Number 2 was staffing. Staffing, what do we mean? It is the administrator supposed to staff. That is recruiting teachers, or even the support staff. You select. Yesterday we were discussing with some students here. They told me, just call somebody, tells you have a teacher, and then you tell him, you bring the teacher and then take the teacher to class. No. After advertising that I want teachers, you select them. You give them interviews, you select them, you make assessment. Not alone, you can invite others. When I say you, it can be singular, it can be plural. So don't think that, hey, Clem told me I do everything alone. No. It is you to know what you can do alone and where you need other people to help you. Then there is the training. They say, hey, only a job when was trained them. Again, I train them what? They were trained in education management and administration, yes, but you have to train them according to what you want them to do. Hello? There is a school, Catholic schools, you have to know to design every subject depending on the Catholic theology. You have to add Bikira Maria in every topic. I'm just telling you an example. So each school has got its own objectives, different from another school. Whether you're giving the same material, but you have to brand that material according to the objectives of that school. Hello? Then there is, after selecting, that is getting the best. Of course, you have to look for the best. Somebody were in Ginger in a workshop of hotels, institutions and hotels. Then they told us, you people send us the best students to work in our hotels. Then Mr. Kero asked them, what about those worst students whom you call that? Where do you want us to take them? They have paid, they have studied, they have completed the course. So we should throw them in River Nile because they are not good. Or because as a school or as an administrator, you have to select the best. What you call the best, another school can call it the worst or average. So according to your standards. Then after training, after selection, you have chosen your best staff, you have to train them. Sometimes we organize workshops, seminars, sometimes daily reminder, where people know how to scheme also differently. Where there have been, maybe there are some certain ideas they are not putting on serious. Now you are taking it serious. You put in your skills, of course, panel beating. That's why you can't recruit an untrained staff. Every school, every administrator wants qualified staff. They are qualified, but still they are trained. Keep on training depending on your capacity. Whether workshops, whether seminars, weekends, in staff meetings, you give them some tips, you write for them on notes boards, ABCD. Then development, how do we develop them? Different types of development. Some institutions give the teacher loans to build, to construct, take their pupils to school, they recruit their children to the school, they give them scholarships, etc. So your staff must be happy with you to render service when he's happy, or she. Some teachers, they are even given clothes, others are given food. I remember somewhere they are giving us every weekend a bar of soap, kilogram of sugar, ABCD. It depends on your income. I'm not saying that you have to give them, but it depends also on your income. Then there is, you have to choose the right people, the necessary skills, and the qualifications. A secondary school teacher teaching biology, you can't recruit that teacher in P1. Somebody was telling me, sure, only teaching P1, sure. You think for me I can't dance and jump with those kids? You can't, my friend. A secondary school teacher cannot teach primary unless he or she is trained, retrained, and gains experience. A P5 teacher may find it hard to teach senior 2. Hello? There are also different types of talents and skills. Somebody who is teaching mathematics might not be able to teach English. Another person who is teaching English might not be able to teach reading. Other people cannot even, their accent will not be able to make them able to teach sound, etc. So it is your responsibility as an administrator to know who has which skills to apply where. Then there is directing. You have to give the clear instructions. Somebody was telling me, people they have big heads. When you tell them, you people bring the files, they tell you we are tired. What should I do? Do I beat them or I chase them, all of them? We shall look at that also, but you have to also to build the skills which can make people to understand you and obey. Because it is your responsibility to give instructions. You direct, hey madam, excuse me, please, somebody is not scheming well, let me help you with the scheming. That means that must be a bright person. It's both an science and an art. So if you are not bright, how will you guide others? How will you direct others what you don't also know? Your pupils are getting 20%. How do you direct others to teach well when you cannot teach? That's why for me I always say, you can't lead in something you can't do well. You can't tell a teacher that you teach like this when you don't know how they teach. Maybe the teacher knows how to work than even you. So you can't afford to be an administrator. Then there is controlling, evaluating performance. Yes, that is to know who is doing what. What should we add in here? How should we help this one? If the worst comes to the worst, this one should be stopped or expelled or maybe given a warning. But as an administrator, you are supposed to follow, you are supposed to lead others follow. So if it means like punctuality, you don't fall sick, you don't lose people every day, you don't fall sick every day, it is raining, you don't come, you see the jam, you don't come, you look for excuses. Automatically the people you are leading are going to follow you because you are the blackboard to the other staff members. They are going to follow you. So you break the management to small units to make it possible for you to manage it. Like a prefect, class teacher, head of English department, head of literature, sports teacher, ABCD. Those small branches of management can help you to do the work very well. So you remember, in brief, we discussed the functions of management, planning, organization of resources, staffing, directing, controlling, coordinating, reporting, budgeting. So controlling can also involve budgeting. Our evaluation, you can also look at it in, like you can say, weighing scale or SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, or challenges. What problems? You note down the problems each day, each week, each month. Actually, for an administrator, it is better you make a report every week, or at least every 2 weeks or every month. You look at the challenges, because you have to learn every day. There's nobody who has everything, who knows everything. After learning the challenges every day you meet, you write them down. Not all the challenges that you're supposed to find them somewhere. You look at the challenges, or what you can call the problems. How will I solve these problems with my member staff the next week, or the next month, or the next year? Not all challenges are solvable. Some are not solvable, then you forward them to the next step. Some are solvable, you can solve them. Some are hard, you forward them. Then what are your strengths? You look at the strength of the school, of the administration, of the staff, of everything, and then you concentrate on the strong points. Then the weaknesses. How can we overcome? How can we lift ourselves from the ditch of weaknesses? How can we reduce the weaknesses? You concentrate there. Anyway, by the way, if possible, head teachers or deputies are not supposed to go to class, or they minimize lessons, because they must concentrate on management. You have to plan. Your brain must be working ahead of others, almost a full year ahead. It is very embarrassing for an administrator. Something happens at school and you also shout, I didn't know. You must know. Somebody has fallen sick, that this sickness is not good. Maybe it is serious, let us take him to the hospital. Then somebody dies and you're also shocked. You're supposed to predict things before they come to pass. Let others get shocked, but for you see them before they happen, and you either prevent them if they are bad, if they are good, you rejoice. Let me give you an example. I had 2 children in a certain year. One was very weak, according to what I knew. Another one was very bright in primary. The boy was getting 4 in every test. Another one was getting 3rd grade, 4th grade. When they start peer in different schools, moreover, when they start peer of him, the one who was getting 4 got 7 aggregates. The other one who was getting 3rd grade, 4th grade, got 2nd grade. I was very happy for this one who got a 2nd grade. This one who got a 7, I was like indifferent. Then people told me, you segregate between your children. Why do you appreciate this one and don't appreciate the other one? I tried to explain, but they could not understand. But when I went to the administrator or the teacher of that particular boy, he was also not happy for the boy. I asked him, you want to be happy? He told me, no, this boy is very playful. He was supposed to get 4. Do you understand me? Because for him, he had already predicted. If you are teaching pre-7, you can predict that this one is going to get a 1st grade, this one is going to not to get. By the time PLE comes, you already know the 1st grade, the 2nd, and the whatever. So you just get shocked to see something better. But you don't get shocked for those who are going to fail, because you have the authority, the responsibility of predicting the future. Are we together? So how do we predict? By evaluating. You look at the past, you understand what is happening in the present, and you predict the future. That is the work of the administrator as part of it. But other teachers, you go to class, you teach math, you go back and rest, and you mark books and you rest. So you don't go into these details like an administrator has to do. Are we together? Management is a subject, or is a branch or part of administration, or sometimes at our level of certificate diploma, those two terms can be used interchangeably. Hello? So let us get a break. You can get your pen and write this abbreviation, because this function you must know them before you begin to work. It is called PostDev. P, standing for planning. O, standing for organization. S, standing for staffing. D, direction. C, O, small o, coordination. R, reporting. And B, budgeting. Budgeting, that is involving money. Somebody can tell you, who made you to do accounting? You have to know. Doesn't need you to have done accounting, because if you don't know accounting, you don't know anything to do with the crediting, debiting, how will you manage the bursar? Because the bursar is always under you. Being a school, the bursar must be reporting to somebody. Thank you so much. Let us get a break of about 10 minutes. We come back with episode 2. May God bless you so much.